Hi everyone and welcome back to SanaA's garden. I hope you all are doing great. In this video I am showing how to dig and divide the tree lilies. So first let me brief a few things about tree lilies. So what are these? Tree lilies are a hybrid cross between Asiatic lilies and Oriental tree lilies. So these are the plants which are having very tall and large stalks, but in spite of the name the tree lilies, they are not actually trees. They are herbaceous plants that die down every year at the end of the growing season. The average height of the tree lilies is about 4 feet, whereas some varieties may even reach to about 5 to 6 feet tall. So next thing here is how to grow the tree lilies. Same as the Asiatic lilies, the tree lilies also grow from bulbs. So these can be planted in the autumn up until spring. They need a very well draining, rich and fluffy soil, and they need at least 4 to 6 hours of bright sunlight, and can also be grown in the partial sunlight area as long as it gets a few hours of sun. So regular watering is also very essential to keep the lilies happy. Most of my channel viewership is for the Asiatic lilies, and some of those viewers have always asked questions about the tree lilies, and I hope that this video will be helpful to them. So I personally don't have any tree lilies in my garden, but my neighbor has them. She has grown them for a couple of years now, and it was really very kind of her to provide me all these pictures and clips of her digging out the tree lilies. And she had no idea that the tree lilies would even divide, and she was really surprised to know that. And yeah, she's digging them out, and let's see at the end of the video how many bulbs can we harvest. I suppose this is the second or a third year, if I'm not wrong, of her growing these lilies, and they have never been divided, mind you, and never been dug out. So it was very difficult for her to dig it out. The pot was really root bound, and yeah, it was a tough job for her. After the plant is done blooming, cut the bloom stalks away and leave the foliage on until the plant completely dries off and becomes yellow. This happens sometime during the autumn when the leaves completely become brown and it all dries up like this. So when your plants are looking, when your tree lilies are looking like this, just you can go ahead and cut the stems from the base, and then you can start digging them out. And if you wish to divide, you can divide them. It is best to divide the tree lilies at least every 2 or 3 years. Tree lilies do not divide extensively as the Asiatic lilies. These produce multiple bulbs or bulblets every 2 or 3 years. So my neighbor had planted about just 5 bulbs about 2 years ago, and this was the whole harvest from her pot. So let's see how many we end up with. One thing I would like to point out here is really the size of the bulbs. It is amazing how big they are. I mean, I haven't seen any bulb of this size. I wish I had my Asiatic lily bulbs on hand to compare the sizes. I couldn't because I had already planted all my bulbs, but I really can say that these are at least half. The largest bulb is at least double the size of the Asiatic lily bulbs, and you can see this bulb has divided into 3 split bulbs. That's one bulb has produced 3 split bulbs, you can see that. And this one is again a split bulb, so that has 2 separate pointy ends. So you just separate the bulbs with the detangling of the roots, and this is the whole clump of one bulb. So the bulblets are formed on the top of the bulb, so that's the bulblets which have formed along the stalk above the main parent bulb. So yeah, dividing the bulbs is really very easy. I mean, you just hold a single bulblet or the bulb and just pull it away from the root, from the place where they are joining to the parent bulb, and it's going to easily separate by just detangling the roots. So as I mentioned earlier that she had planted only 5 bulbs 2 years ago, and this is what we have ended up with now. And I also would like to point out here that the tree lilies do not divide as extensively or aggressively as the Asiatic lilies. They produce fewer bulbs and fewer and bigger bulbs only every 2 to 3 years, so which is a good thing in itself. You get a flowering sized bulbs whenever you dig and divide them, so these are a very decent sized, and I'm sure they will flower this season. So yeah, that is a pretty good harvest. At least they have produced more than double the number of the bulbs that she started with. Now coming to the planting of the tree lily bulbs, it is a very simple process. Plant the bulbs in a moisture retentive and well draining fluffy soil. You can use any multi-purpose compost. I'm using this bulb planting compost as I had it on hand, and as a rule of thumb you can plant the bulbs thrice the depth of the bulb, as deep as the size of the bulb. And if you really want to be precise, you can plant them 10 to 12 inches deep and at least 8 to 12 inches apart, and water them thoroughly after planting. And once the bulb starts producing shoots in spring, you can start fertilizing them every 2 weeks. So until then, yeah, you can just plant them and forget them. That's it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you all really enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you got some tips from it, and I hope this inspired you to get something done in your garden today. Thanks for watching. Bye.